I'm pretty sure a 5-year-old Steve did not think that he would be sitting in Victoria and making the sticks, nano sticks. How did that happen?
So I think as a kid, I always loved playing with Lego. So I was obsessed with Lego, and I used to like building stuff and yeah, creating all kinds of things. And I think that kind of theme continued through my life. It's just that now I work with much smaller Lego bricks. So yeah, that's kind of the way I think about it. I've had an interesting career path that sort of varied a bit, and it's not been standard, I guess. But every step of my career, I've just made the decision which I did what I wanted to enjoy most and what I thought sounded most interesting, and I sort of took advantage of opportunities that presented themselves. I didn't intend on studying chemistry at university. I was thinking of doing computer science. I went to a couple of open days, and I had a couple of bad experiences with the computer science open days, and then I had a couple of really good people that presented chemistry at the universities, and I thought, oh, this actually sounds quite interesting. I was probably wowed, like a lot of people, by sort of like lasers and explosions and liquid nitrogen and stuff, and I was like, yes, this is cool. I want to study this. Yeah. And then afterwards, I worked in industry for a bit after my chemistry degree, because at the time I just was looking for all opportunities, and I won an award for being the most improved chemistry student at my undergraduate, and the company that provided that award were the company that they offered me a job afterwards, basically, and I was like, this seems like a good opportunity. So
You had what? Most improved. You improved over the course of your undergrad? What does that mean?
yeah, that's basically what it means. It means someone who had lower grades at the start of their degree and then had better grades at the end. So my average every year went up. So I think I started at like 60%, and then in my first year, and I had maybe like 65 in my second year, and in my third year, I got like 69.5%. I worked out my average was like 69.5% or whatever it was. It was the highest grade you could get without getting a first, basically. And so I did the maths for like my final year and worked out that if I got like 74% in my final year, I would get a first. So then I was like, okay, I'm committed to doing this in my final year. And so like in my final year, I got like 84% or something. So I tried a lot harder in my final year, and yeah, so like
Oh my God, this is so cool. I love the idea. Sorry for interrupting, but I want to take the moment to acknowledge, or rather mention, that I love the idea of most improved student, because oftentimes the scholarships or awards or whatever, everything is for the people who come first, second, or third, maybe fifth, and that's it. But these are usually people who consistently over the course of their studies are first, second, third, fourth, or fifth. But this is really cool. Oh, wow. No wonder you took that job. That's awesome. Sorry, please go on.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a really good idea. I think people that like that normally have the most interesting journeys, I guess, because they've had to overcome obstacles and shown improvement. Whereas if you're always in the front and always best, then you haven't had to overcome as many obstacles, I guess. I worked in this industry job for about a year or so. It's in contract-based agrochemical companies. My job was literally weighing soil out and then working out what pesticides were in it, so measuring the amount of different pesticides and stuff. And we got to work with quite a lot of different things. It was kind of interesting, but then also it didn't really challenge me as much as I wanted. And so then I thought about doing a PhD, and yeah, I was lucky to get into the Bristol Chemical Synthesis Centre for Doctoral Training, which was like an amazing opportunity. And so, yeah, for people that don't know about them, in the UK, they have these things called CDTs, which are centers that specialize in training PhD students in areas that are important. So they pick one particular area, and then it's great as a student because you get to choose the project you want to work on. So there's lots of academics that work with the center, and you do a few rotations in each lab, and then you get to pick from I think we had about like 30 projects that we could choose from, and we got to choose what PhD project we wanted. So it gives the power to you rather than the power being with the academic, which is quite nice. So yeah, the one
choosing.
So I worked on, I was always fascinated by biology and medicine and stuff. So I chose to work with carbohydrate-based anti-cancer drugs, which is it's very different because at the time I didn't do biology at school. So I knew no biology, just chemistry. And it was quite a steep learning curve for part of my project, but I really enjoyed it. And it was, yeah, really interesting.
So was this like pasta or bread as anti-cancer? Because you said carbs.
Yeah, so we're like sugars basically. So yeah, I was working with glucose. I worked with a couple of sugars, like glucose and mannose, and so yeah, literally like table sugar or brewer's sugar. If people that brew beer, it's like dextrose or glucose. I was modifying that and then attaching it to like some molecules that people use in like the semiconductor industry, and made these weird, we call them ambiphilic molecules. So they they had really weird properties, but I was trying to get them to bind to these special four-stranded DNA structures that are called G quadruplexes. The G quadruplexes were known to be overexpressed in a variety of cancers, and so we were trying to stabilize them and then kill the cancer cells.
Did it work? Which kind of cancer? Is it coming to the market? If I eat bread, will I be curing my cancer? Tell me.
I don't think so. These ones were structurally a bit different. Yeah, it's a really interesting area. There are no drugs that are currently approved that target G quadruplexes, but there is a couple that are in clinical trials. And yeah, it's a very interesting area.
As a scientist, ethically, I should stop saying eating bread might cure your cancer. I didn't say that. Sorry, please. Your PhD sounds really cool. Okay, go on. Yeah, I go to PhD. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So as part of that, I was trained as a synthetic chemist. So I did rotations in organic chemistry and supramolecular chemistry and organic chemistry and carbohydrate chemistry. But I also learned I wanted to test the compounds myself because that seemed like one of the most interesting parts. So I learned how to grow cells and do the biology side of things myself as well. And that was really fun and rewarding. And so at the end of my PhD, I was sort of thinking about what I wanted to do next. And I thought I really enjoyed working on anti-cancer applications. But I thought the compounds I was making, they were a long way away from being approved and actually solving the problems they were aiming to treat. I was thinking about other ways what do I think is most promising for treating cancer and diseases like that? And then I was really interested in CRISPR and nucleic acid medicines and mRNA and stuff like that. But that was in the realms of biology, not chemistry. And so I wasn't sure what I could do to work on that. I applied for an EPSRC doctoral prize fellowship, which is an opportunity to conduct your own research in a group in the UK. And so I joined the group of Ian Manners to work on polymer-based delivery systems. I read a couple of articles about how the delivery of medicines was a big challenge. And I thought that's something that is in the realms of chemistry, and that's something that chemists can work on. So that's the group that I'm still in today now, several years down the road into the journey of working on these systems.
I hope you enjoyed this snippet. You can listen to the full episode by following the link in the show notes. And if you are not following Under the Microscope already, please make sure to hit that follow button. It's absolutely for free, and it helps us grow the podcast even more. Thank you very much as always, and see you in the next one.